Yo, what's up? Welcome to the 23rd episode of The Final Bell on Network, Halftime Network, YouTube. Y'all got to check us out, man. We're doing a lot of wonderful things in terms of inspiring, encouraging, and impacting people, man. That's what this is all about. Yo, I got a great guest on, good friend guest on. He has a lot of international experience, exposure, etc. And I wanted to tell him a little bit. His name is Darryl Reshaw. Darryl, what's up, man? Thanks for coming here, man. Checking me out, baby.
Hey, I appreciate you.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, so Darryl, tell him a little bit about yourself, man. Give him a little brief background, bro.
No, I mean, I'm like you, former professional player. Played 13 years in Europe, played in England, France, Belgium, Luxembourg, Israel, Switzerland. Played in the EuroLeague 1 year. After I transitioned out of playing professional basketball, I got an advertising business a couple of years in London. Then I transitioned to the agency business. Probably brokered 300 contracts in 30 different countries. Transitioned out of the agency business, got into the marketing, media, and event business, and created a platform called the Eurobasket Summer League and the Global Basketball Summer League. Those two platforms, we've helped probably close to 1,000 kids get jobs in digital marketing overseas. And I kind of made my name in the industry, in the international basketball community, by helping these kids, mentoring them and doing the digital marketing and having a platform for kids to get overseas. And I took that serious as a lot of gratification because I had to go through the back door getting to Europe. I had to go to a JUCO, NBA Summer League, Pro-Am Summer Leagues, play in the smaller countries. So it's not easy to play professional basketball, as you know. And so I made a lot of mistakes along the way, but it was a great experience. So through that experience, I was able to provide back to a community of kids, aspiring kids trying to make their livelihoods overseas. And
Wow, that's amazing.
Cool.
That's amazing. I'm always I'm a fan of people who doing selfless things, who doing things with a serving heart and helping other people. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. And Darryl has always, been trying to help other people. And he, like you said, he got well over 1,000 guys that he helped create opportunities, get opportunities playing professionally. Right. But, so Darryl, let me ask you this question, man. So in terms of more so than ever today, right? Kids need to know that there's more opportunities besides playing in the NBA now than ever because of the transfer portal. That's one. And two, and then the European players are coming over here. But go ahead, I want you to touch on that.
No, it's just if you look at the numbers, you have about 400 Division I universities, you have X amount of seniors coming out. So every year there's a couple thousand kids coming out. So there's only 30 spots in the NBA? No, 60 spots. And of those spots, a percentage go to Europeans. So I mean, you got 5,000 kids vying for what?
Right.
40 spots? So the majority of those kids will end up in Europe, South America, Africa, NBA G League, Canada. There's pro basketball leagues all around the world in every continent. So there's a lot of opportunities, and a lot of people, there's misinformation. They just think it's easy to play overseas. It's not. It's not.
Yes.
And so our job in my platform, we try to identify the next set of pros. So from the 60 guys who are going to get opportunities in the NBA, let's say the next 90 to 1,000 end up overseas. Some guys end up nowadays in the G League. Some guys end up in these new programs like OTE League and NBA G League Ignite program. But you got guys playing in different divisions. So for instance, you played in France, right?
Yeah.
So you played at the highest level of France, but people, they don't understand how the infrastructure of European basketball is in France. So in France, you got Pro A, you got Pro B, you got National 1, you got National 2. So you got 4 divisions in France where Americans could get paid. And so, kids don't know, how do you get a job in these countries? So even the top jobs in Pro France, almost like NBA jobs, are hard to get.
Yes.
You have to have a resume. You have to have a pro resume.
Yes.
And if you're a rookie,
yes.
I mean, you literally have to be first team.
Yes. Yes.
All Big East.
Yes.
First
yes.
team, all Big Sky.
Yes.
You know.
I was, having the opportunity, I was an exception, man. And just the grace of God, man, the opportunity came. Because I was playing at Clark College in the Summer Pro-Am League and played one of my worst games ever. And the guy come up to me with broken English. Would you like to go to play in France? After one of my terrible, I was terrible, Darryl. And he asked me to have a passport. That's when I know it was real. So they flew me into Belgium, and then they flew me into France. So I ended up playing with the Boston Celtics of France, which was Villebon, Asvel. That's where your boy Wemby played there too for 1 or 2 years. And he was coached by my point guard, who is the French national team coach, Vincent Collet. Okay. And so he's supposed to be coming here.
I know Vince really well.
That's my guy, man. That was my next door neighbor. He physically, when he first came to play with me in Villebon, he moved his apartment right next door to me because we had the key to the gym at night, so we can go in and just shoot. We was working at night, but you just touched on something about the different levels in Europe.
Man.
I was fortunate, like I said, to play at a really high level, the Euro Cup, the Euro League, which a lot of people are not. They don't know what that's about.
Exactly.
That's a whole nother dimension of basketball.
That's a whole long
Yes, yes. And so, like some guys, they go, they play. Because what happened, guys come back. It's good to go get the experience, but they tell them to play in Europe, but you played in Mexico. Is Mexico part of Europe?
No, not at all.
so I'm just saying, not to throw shots, but my point is, when you go for these experiences, right, don't be playing no games with it, man, because you go over there, and a lot of reasons, a lot of you guys don't make it. I got 13 years out of it. How many years you got out of it?
Same, 13.
13 years, right. It's because, for me, and I'm pretty sure Derek could contest to this, is I wasn't trying to be the best player on the team. I was trying to be the best player for the team. And so you guys, a lot of times, the reason y'all go over there, you don't get the opportunities, because you want them to adapt to you as opposed to you adapting to them. You're in their country.
That's a great point.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So we was able to get those opportunities and preserve it is because we understood like it wasn't just about us. And we was open to learn, to get knowledge. And that's what you did when you was over there and you developed those relationships. One thing about you, Darryl, you always been an effective communicator. No, I'm serious. Like you in
talk
marketing.
Too much a lot of times.
You talk. That's what I'm saying. You talk, and that's why you was in marketing.
Yes.
That's why you was really good at what you did. But I think more so than ever, Darryl, I really think these guys, they really need that platform now, man. I don't know if you're still doing it, but I think you need to open that back up. You know what I mean?
Just I transitioned out of it because of the kids.
Yeah, because of your kids. You got your own kids.
So.
Speaking of kids, so let's talk about your 2 kids, man. He got 2 kids, up and coming little stars, and man, they little workaholics. Darryl helped them out there working all times of day and night. So just talk about that whole experience.
Well, I consider myself like the professional version of a LeVar Ball. So, being a former professional player, a professional agent, sports agent that was successful, you try to give back. So a lot of people are in the business of getting their kids scholarships, and that's the first step. But I consider myself in the business for my kids of making pros. So it's a difference. So, transitioning out of the pro game, you understand what it takes to be a pro. But transitioning in grassroots basketball, especially here in the Atlanta area, it's different. I was a sports agent for a long time, for over 12 years, and you have different type of hurdles. But in the grassroots basketball community, you have different hurdles. You got parents who are hungry. They want to get their kids. They want to get that transfer portal. They want to get that NIL money. They want to get that 7-figure, 8-figure contract. And everybody's chasing the same thing. So you got a lot of parents dreaming and they're chasing, whereas everything's a process, as you know. There's a step. So how do you get your player to the next level? How do you get them ranked? How do you get them on a successful AU team? How do you get them a Division II scholarship, a Division I scholarship? Then last but least, how do you get them to the pro? So everything's a process and it's a step. And a lot of people, it's a decision-making process. And if you don't get every step right, it's not going to happen. So as a parent in that space and as a coach, you know, you're just trying to get everything right. So like you're in the training industry, you got to get the right training. You got to get the right IQ. You got to have the right size. Then you have to get the right opportunity, the right coaches. So like if you go in the college system, if you go to University of Georgia and you have a different type of game and the coach may not like you, you're on the bench. Then the guy transfers out, he goes to, where a kid a couple years ago went to Baylor, you know, won a national championship after transferring from Auburn.
Yeah.
You know, that happens. So you got to get every situation right. You got to be a little lucky too.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. It's kind of like, I use the scenario, it's kind of like a puzzle, right?
Yes.
So you got to keep putting them pieces together with that puzzle. I kind of use that scenario with my development. See, a lot of people, they want to put the carriage before the horse. Like, I don't teach moves. I convey options, right? So once you build that fundamental foundation with the feet, right, and the brain become in the feet, then you allow the personality to take over.
Yeah.
And so now you got the ball handling, so now you just play, but you want them to play, be efficient and effective.
Right.
That's the most important thing. So no matter who they go play against, play with, they'll be able to perform consistently.
Right.
And the other thing is, Darryl, when we have these organizations, teams, I know you had a few teams that was playing and trying to develop players in the process. The thing is I think kind of like with a lot of coaches, they don't get the whole picture, right, of what you're really trying to do. Everybody want it now.
It's called a microwave society.
Exactly. Everybody want it now.
Yeah, you want it quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody want it now. It's a process. It's a process. Like Dee said, it's a process. But in the process, there's different components that goes in the process. It's pretty much what you were saying.
Yeah.
So when you get that puzzle and you are, pow, I see that, pow, 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 pow. Now you're starting to see the picture.
Right.
But people want to skip over that, so you haven't even completed the puzzle. And so that's where I always laid my hat on. I remember when you first brought your son, Yami, to my gym downtown. And you sit and you watch, and you was almost like you was amazed all the stuff was going on.
Hey man, since we're on camera, I have to tell the story, how I got to Bo Bell. Can I tell the story?
Go ahead, man.
All right. So the story's like this. Being a former pro, I had a court in the backyard. I'm up here training Diami, right? And being a parent, you know, most of the time he ends up going upstairs complaining to my wife, crying. You know, he's about 9 years old at the time. And I'm pretty tough on him, so I'm like, man, I kept hearing your name, Bo Bell, Bo Bell. So anyway, what's my guy's name? He coaches in Dante Hall.
Oh yeah, Dante.
Dante Hall. And I was talking to him because for years I ran the Global Basketball Summer League, and we've helped kids get overseas. We had all the pro
He's
coaches.
coached in Vietnam. He was
Asia, all over the place. Real sharp brother.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was kind of thinking about a new event, and I was considering doing a big man's camp because, you know, the late Pete New had a monopoly on the big man development. All the NBA agents, all the high-level college players, all the NBA guys would go to Pete New. And I don't think nobody's really doing a big man's camp. So I was talking. I know I talked to Alton Lister about doing something. So me and Dante was talking, and I said, man, who do you think I could get? And I had mentioned I talked to Alton Lister. Then we were just throwing out some names and stuff. They said, man, you tripping. He said, right in your backyard. He said, D, I've been around NBA skill development guys, NBA trainers, at all levels, overseas, NBA. He said, the best guy in the world come footwork is Bo Bell. I'm like, are you serious? So I looked at your website. I don't even think I had your number. Next thing I do, I called you the next day. Within a week, Diami came for at least for 2 years till the pandemic.
Yes.
And he still needs to come and get the Bo Bell footwork because that's part of the component.
Yes.
You know, I specialize and make sure he gets his shooting. He's an elaborate, prolific shooter, and he can handle, but the footwork, he's, you know, and it started, and I noticed coming to your event, the more you come, the better he got, and all the kids. I noticed that. Then secondly, I was just amazed at the level of drills. I think I told you, like, bro, where you get all this stuff from, man? You sit up at night and just think of drills and stuff. So I was tripping off the fact that, like, it was amazing. And I could confirm, it's official, definitely the best footwork guy in the world. Hands down, it's not even close.
All right, man, I'm gonna give you a check in a few minutes, all right? I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
No, but listen, man, we never deviated, Darryl, since you know me, man, because I understand, like, you can't go nowhere without your feet.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people want to do it, you know, backwards, where they come in and teach him moves, but the kid footwork is not in place. So he's not gonna max out. You're gonna have a better chance if you develop the feet, because you can't go nowhere without your feet, man.
True.
And so I never got caught in the hype. I just stayed with that. But so let me ask you this, Darryl. So with your kids, because this is gonna help a lot of parents. Because I'm watching you, because it's a constant struggle, because you got so many things that you are competing against.
You have no idea. It's complex. The grassroots market, the AU teams, the high schools, the coaches, the love you get is real, and the hate you get is real too. Social media. So you're dealing with a lot of moving parts, and you have hurdles that you constantly overcome. But the cool thing is, like with my kids, you got to teach them the skill part of the game, the mental part of the game. And if you're lucky, you have the right type of athletes, and you got to give them the experience. But the most important thing is the love of the game, as you know. So you got to have a balance of everything. You can't burn them out. If you look at the proliferation of basketball in the United States right now, even at the NBA level, look at the state of injuries. The state of injuries, bro. And kids 18, 19 having major back surgeries problem because they're playing thousands and thousands of games. So, you know, we're all chasing something, but sometimes we all chase too much.
That's right.
That's right. So you got to get everything right, and they got to love the game.
Well, you know what? You touched on that. Love. Not like. It's a difference between love and like. Some kids come in, they just want to go through the motions, do this, do that, and they're okay, I'm out of the gym. Okay, if that's what you want to do, I'm going to help you, but you stay over there. I want the kids that really love it. That really love it. Now I work with you, but them kids that love it, they're gonna get the most out of it. They're gonna get the most out of it. And the biggest challenge a lot of times, sometimes you have to push your kids a little bit harder. Like me, myself, I'm struggling right today with my own grandson, bro. I'm supposed to be one of the guys around here, right? And I can't get him, like, because just trying to find a balance of being firm and find a balance to being, you know, just being nice and being his father, being his grandfather. I'm sensing that I'm losing my relationship as a grandfather because I've been beating on him so hard, pounding him. And so how do you, especially, same thing, because he got all these negative things coming at him. Now you got girls coming at him too. So how do you manage that? How do you manage that, but then you still keep them going and doing what they're supposed to do?
What I do is I talk to a lot of people like yourself. I talk to my predecessors, the guys who've been through it before, because when you're managing a kid, you have a parent, whether it's a grandfather or father, it's a different dynamic, you know. So like if I bring my son or my daughter to you, they're gonna do exactly what you say. They're dealing with me, I'm still dad. So the important part, you got to have that communication piece with them. Then you got to know your kids. It's like what we say, know your personnel. So certain kids, I'm jealous of fathers who don't have any problems with their kids, and they do what they said, because my kids give me hell sometimes.
Well, that seems to be the norm for, like, I mean, across the board. I don't think you're the only one that deal with that.
You have a balance. So I bring my kids to other people right now, and guess what? It works. But there's times where I don't feel like spending money, and I'm giving them the same type of information. So I have to find ways of, let's say, tricking them. Sometimes I have to pay them. You know, like, okay, if we have a good workout, what's your favorite? You know, what do you want to eat afterwards, or what do you want? And guess what? They do it. I was telling my daughter the other day, every time you make a shot, you get, if you do it the right way, you get $1. If you do it the wrong, it's a minus $1. So I said, but we get up to $30. And guess what? All of a sudden, her shot pocket was right, her balance was right, and her follow through. Prior to that, I couldn't get her to follow through. She was messing me around. I'm trying to move her shot pocket from right here to right here. And she was playing like she didn't know what I talked about. I put money on the table. All of a sudden, she got 90% of the shots right.
Well, you know, hey, but you know I like that creativity, man.
Yeah.
I think you have to nowadays. You got to be creative to get the results that you need with your kids, man.
Right.
But it's still gonna be some that you're not gonna be able to help everybody.
Yeah.
But the ones that you can help, you just got to keep reaching and trying to help them. So Darryl, after you left Europe, right? When you left Europe, what was the first thing that you really just got involved? What was your mindset? How long you been married? You been married for a while?
I've been married since 2005.
Okay, got it. So what was one of the first things was on your mind? Like figuring out what I'm gonna do with my life, or did you already have plans, or what?
That's I like the question. I was a different type of American that lived in Europe because I was American that didn't come home in the summers. That's different. So one of the first places I played was in London. London is like the New York of Europe. Big city, and it's an English-speaking country. So if you're an American living in London and you have any type of business skills or objectives and stuff, it's a place you can make money. So I got involved in advertising sales. I got involved in selling financial investments and stuff, and just to supplement my income, because in the UK you don't make a lot of money.
Right.
And so in between seasons I coached kids, and so after I would do a basketball contract, I would come home to the United States maybe 3 weeks. I always had a flat, what they call an apartment or a flat in Europe or in London. Sometimes if I wasn't there, I let one of my boys stay there. Plus you had a large American expatriate community in London. So I had friends in the military, in the investment banking world. A lot of the entertainers live in London. So, if you're a black American in London, man, you connect with everybody. So like when people like Invo came over, I was hooked up. You would see them out. They said, "What you doing there?" I said, "I hoop." They said, "You come to the show?" I wasn't planning. You want tickets? Yeah. So I remember what's they called? Babyface, his group came over. I used to go to all the Mike Tyson's fights. So after a while, you met everyone in London. So London was an exciting city. So I was always involved in business. I taught sports seminars. I used to promote parties in London. And so as soon as I got out of playing professional basketball, for a couple of years, I got hurt in Israel, so I got into selling advertising. So I was an American living in London, running an advertising firm. I was making more money in the advertising industry than all the pro basketball players were making in London.
Oh, wow.
Easy. And I was good at it, so I transitioned from the advertising business to the agency thing.
So how did that experience, and I can contest to this, and I'm gonna tell you what it did for me. The experience of living in Europe, it broadened my perspective about life. You know what I mean? It just opened my head up so wide, man, because you have a chance to see so much. And then, being able to travel to all these countries, because I told you the Euro League is like, you go everywhere. And just seeing other walks of life, Russia and Sweden.
It did the same thing. It changed my life and my perspective. So I was an American. Let me see if I get the right word. So when you first go to Europe, you're looking, I had that American flag. This is what we do in the United States. This is what in the U.S. this, and they're like, well, shoot, why ain't you in the NBA? What are you doing over here? Then after 6 months, I started looking at the United States different. I was looking from outside in, so outside. Opposite. So my interperspective changed. And so living in different countries, eating different foods, different language, different people, different mentality, it changed me. Then the basketball, being a professional in this environment. So it would always impact me. So I remember I was working for Eurobasket at the NBA All-Star Weekend, and me and Chauncey Billups went to the same school, high school. We were both from Denver, same neighborhood, called Park Hill, similar to College Park. And he was like, man, I ain't never been to Europe. I looked at him like he was a Martian. He said, man, I heard this live over there. I said, man, I could write a book about it. Then I just realized at that point, people like myself and all the guys that spent 12, 10, 13, 14 years in Europe, and you played all these countries, you're a millionaire, a maybe even a billionaire in terms of experience. And what you got out of it is worth giving back. And so what you're giving back is, they could never take that from you. So you can have all the money in the world, you could be in the NBA, But what we got being in Europe for 13 years, it was an amazing experience, and it changed my life. I would love to play in the league, but I'd never give up on that experience, man. It's worthless. I mean, it's priceless.
You touched on something, D. You really did. So that experience, right, not only changed our lives, right? I tell everybody, because see, experience and exposure change life.
Yes.
Experience and exposure changes life, period. And so I tell anybody, man, if you get an opportunity, man, get outside of the United States. And I ain't talking about Mexico and Bahamas. You know what I mean? Go to, I mean, no offense to those countries if that's what you want to do, but just go to some other countries. The next trip that we taking is I'm going to Africa, right?
Right.
I want to go see, you know, kind of where we came from, where we exist. I want to see that. But one of the things I do with my program is we take trips. Like last year, we took a team to Puerto Rico.
I heard about that. I heard that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Kids had fun, but it really was.
I'll never forget that experience.
Never forget it. You should have saw it, man. It was amazing. And now we're working on doing something where we're going to take kids to France. You know, just opening
We were
their
supposed
mind.
to talk about that because, you know, I'm trying to bring Europeans over to play with Diami this year. So I'm trying to, I'm tired of dealing with American parents going from team to team to team. So I'm like, you know what? I'm part European. I lived over there for 20 years. So let me bring, if I can't be in Europe, let me bring Europe here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
so, and that's the thing too, man. Us having those relationships over there, you know, it kind of gives us an advantage of, in a lot of ways, because of all the things that we've seen, all the relationships we built across the world.
Yeah.
But I would say to anybody, man, you know, stack your chips, man. Take these trips. Yeah. Stack your chips and take these trips. Those are bars right there. Bird, them bars. Stack your chips and take the trips. I like that.
I like that too. Hey, I have a friend. I don't know if you ever heard of the guy. You might have played against. Did you ever play against Chris McNeely?
Yeah.
All right, Chris, you know, lives in Bologna, Italy right now.
Wow, yeah.
So he played in the NBA for about 3 or 4 years, played in the top leagues in Spain and Italy. So what Chris does is there's a lot of Americans who travel to Italy, and like when people used to travel to the UK, they're like, I didn't like it. Then I was like, well, did you? You didn't like London? Well, where did you go? They all did the tourist thing. So they didn't really see it. So what Chris does, he offers packages to people coming to Italy, and he takes them. They pay him a fee, and he gives them the real deal. Right. And so it's kind of interesting. So like you're saying, hey, people go, but I think for you to get the real effect, living internationally, you need to stay in a place at least minimum 30 days.
No question.
Yeah.
No question.
Minimum.
Yeah. So D, let's get to the meat and potatoes real quick. Okay. Let's talk about the influx of European players coming over here and why you think, you know, and why do you think they're coming over here at an alarming rate right now? Because you look at the mock draft right now, that thing is crazy, right? So why, and then I'm gonna ask you another question after that, why do you think they're coming over here? And then what can we do to help our kids get more opportunities at the high level? Because now they got more agents and more scouters, recruiters in Europe looking for the next Luka and those guys. So I got 2 questions there, so I want you to answer them both.
All right, the first one, the reason why there's the influx of Europeans, I think is what I have a term, the proliferation of good versus bad basketball. And the NBA is more of an entertainment game, where the FIBA game is more of a purist of basketball game. And so with all the influx of academies and the money that's in basketball on a global basis, you have all these like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Olympiacos, they're creating academies for kids. They're signing kids when they're 13 or 14 years old, and they're putting buyout clauses in their contract. So Luka had one, Ricky Rubio had one, all the top European kids, a lot of people don't know this, but they start playing with these pro teams when they're 13, 14. And they don't play at the highest level because they have so many different divisions. They might play U16 program. Then when they're ready, they might play with the Euro team. So with these buyout clauses, they're investing in these kids in these academies. And these academies are a one-stop shop. You go at 9 in the morning, or let's say 8 in the morning, you play basketball for 3 hours. you'll do your academics for 3 or 4 hours, only 4 hours, because here in the United States, when we go to school, we got electives, connection classes, PEs, all this stuff. And these academies, they're just trying to get it done, and they have more time. So kids are putting more time in, and they're learning how to play the FIBA game. And the FIBA game is based off of effectiveness, high shooting percentage, ball movement, action off the ball, out of pick and roll, dribble handoff. So all the NBA, if you look at the offense, they're bringing Europeans over to teach them how to run their offenses.
That's right.
When I first went to Europe, all the American coaches was coming to Europe getting paid, laying their knowledge. So they done flipped the script.
They done flipped it, man. This is what I'm saying. And it's not so much, and I was saying earlier, it's not so much of, they're catching up with us. We're going backwards. Now, in terms of skills and talent, okay, we good.
Yeah.
But when you start talking about technical and tactical skills, let me tell you something, man. Listen, their tactical skills is off the charts.
Yeah.
Because they know how to play with and without that basketball.
Exactly.
And they understand that when the ball moves and body moves, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And it's a trust. It's almost like when that ball flows like that and it's moving, and you see that ball going round like that, and then it come back around, and then it go inside and come back out for a shot. Like you said, that's the purest form of good basketball.
It's purest basketball.
And it's just fun to watch. And let me tell you, when I first went over, D, this is a true story. Man, because when I first went over, man, look at these marks on my wrist, right? I'm trying to break the rim. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to snatch that thing off the rim, right?
You must have been getting up higher than me, because I got calluses right here. I don't have nothing right here.
Bro, but D, remember now, if the ball was on the rack, they could knock it off.
Yeah,
and it wasn't the goaltending. Like, you go to the basket sometime, and we playing Sabonis then, bro. I was playing the Sabonis in the Euro Cup. That's when it's prime.
I remember.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Now, if he came, Sabonis would have came over. His son played with Indiana right now.
Yeah.
If Arvydas Sabonis would have came to the NBA in his prime, he would be in the conversation for the best big man ever. Am I lying?
No doubt.
Am I lying?
I got 2 stories on that.
Yeah.
I got time to tell the story?
Yeah. Let me give you this, and then you give me that one.
Okay.
All right. So we played the Euro Cup, right? So I beat the guy off the dribble. I rose up. I was getting ready to throw it because I had to step. All of a sudden, the basket disappeared.
It's Sabonis.
Big old body was just up over the rim. So I'm trying to get to the basket. So I just brought it back and did some old, I don't know what I did. But I wasn't about to get, blocked in front of 50,000 people. But anyway, that's my story, man. He was a giant, kind guy too, man. He's a wonderful guy. But go ahead, give me that, man. What you got?
Well, my first experience in Europe was 1986. I came out of the NBA Summer League, and Lucky Capicchione was the top agent in Europe at the time.
Out of Italy?
Out of Italy.
Yeah.
And so Lucky used to organize these year-round tour teams.
Right.
And I was on the team called San Marino Larios. We were based out of Rimini, Italy. So we had to play all the top teams in France, Italy, Spain, and we would warm up the national teams because they had Mundo Basket going. So anyway, I got hurt the first tour, but on one of the tours, I remember they were like, man, there's this Russian dude, man. They were talking about Sabonis, and they was like, man, he's destroying everybody. Then we had Mike Davis. You played against him. You dunked on Mike Davis.
Oh, you saw?
You showed me the picture. But Mike was a vet, played in the ABA, NBA, played all over Europe.
Yeah.
I said, well, how did Mike do against him? They're like, man, he killed Mike. I was like, he killed Mike like that too? And they said, man, he's the best big guy we ever saw.
Mike was like, dude,
yeah,
big goddamn giant, man.
So Mike was like the leader on the tour. I was like, what? So anyway, I didn't get the chance to him, but that's all they talked about. But if you mention Sabonis, you got to mention the great Drazen Petrovic.
Woo! We just talked about it.
I got to finish this story. And I tell this to everybody. I thought I could shoot. I got paid to shoot. I could shoot the ball. Man, and I had my first game on tour I was cleared to play because I had cut my finger to the bone. It's still displaced a little. I dunked and hit a backboard that was glass. But anyway, we were playing in Rimini in front of 5,000 people, the defending Euro champs, which was Sabonis Zagreb, featuring the Petrovich brothers, and they had some other, who knows, they might have Dina Raj on the team. I can't remember all who they had on the team. But anyway, my roommate was Eric Turner out of Michigan, CBA Player of the Year, got cut with the Rockets, All-American at University of Michigan, just everything. And Mike was like, yo, young boy, he was talking about Petrovich. Man, E.T. didn't want to hear none of that stuff. He's like, man, I'm on the road with Barkley, Jordan, I'm All-American, I done played against everybody. And he said, man, but Petrovich is different, man. E.T., being from Flint, Michigan, didn't want to hear none of that stuff, man. So anyway, I knew I wasn't playing. I was in my street clothes. So, man, everybody talked about this Petrovich guy. So I got to the game early. So Petrovich comes out warming up. He got a couple people passing the ball. I just watch him shoot. He shoots probably about for 20 minutes, Bo. And guess how many shots he missed?
0.
No, serious. I never seen nothing like that.
Yeah.
I was like this, and I thought I could shoot.
Yeah.
And it changed the way. I thought he was like a robot.
Yes.
He didn't miss a layup. He didn't miss a shot for 20 minutes. I'm talking about not one shot. And he came out and gave my boy 44. It was the craziest 44 I ever seen.
When I talk about this dude, like how you talking about him,
yeah,
people can't even imagine. Like he was Steph Curry before Steph was Steph.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like for real. And I had a chance to play against him. Like it was like we was trying to see who can get lower. I was hitting him, I was punching him. He was still getting it, like with no crazy effort.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When that thing get up, and it's like, damn, like he's sticking the ball in the basket.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you this one thing, and this is one of the reasons that I adopted my philosophy of footwork, FeetWirk. I put a lot of emphasis on that. First of all, when I first went to Europe, our first practice was we played soccer in practice on the basketball court.
That's deep.
No, that's real.
Yeah.
And then we played Dragan Petrovic in Yugoslavia.
That must have been crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
So we had shoot around. I think it was like 12, 1 o'clock, something like that. So they was on the other end shooting around, and we was on the other end. So I looked down there, me and the other American, I played with Willie Redden. And Dragan had 3 balls. Yeah, he had 3 balls. So he had a basketball, he had a soccer ball, and he had a tennis ball. So I got a drill in my academy called the Petrovich drill. And he was dribbling the basketball, and he was kicking the soccer ball with both feet, and he was throwing up the tennis ball at the same time. So I'm curious. I'm like, man, what? And I told Will, man, what's he doing? What are you doing? Coming from the state, what is he doing? So I'm curious, because I'm open to learn. I said, I'm gonna go ask him. I went up to him. So he spoke good English, but it was kind of broken. I said, Dragan, I said, what's the purpose of doing this drill? What's the purpose of this drill, man? He said, because I am drilling my task. What?
Task.
You're drilling a task. And so I had to step back because I didn't understand when you first said that with task. What you talking about? And when you think about it, when you're playing basketball, at any given time, you're doing multiple tasks.
True.
You're running, that's a task. You're dribbling, that's a task. You're processing, that's a task. He was drilling his task. Never heard that in my life.
That's deep.
That's deep. That's a whole nother level of development. And so when people talk about, I heard this professional player, I don't want to say no names, he said, man, I don't like gadgets. I don't like that. Man, you got to do what you need to do to get better. You know what I'm saying? If it has purpose to it, like a lot of guys doing stuff, they're just doing it. There's no mythology behind it. None. They're just doing stuff. And then they rah, make you think they're doing something, but the kid ain't really getting better. It's a false sense of security that they give the kids, because now just because you scream and holler at them, and parents are like, oh, that's good, I want my kid to get that. No, but the kid ain't really getting better, because what are you really giving them? When you look deep and you put that scope on what they're doing, is it really the real substance that he needs that's going to add to his game? You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of players, and they don't have the experience. Because to me, experience is the best teacher. You know, and if I'm going to you, what kind of person you is? If I turn my kid over to you, a lot of people don't care, okay, this guy, a basketball trainer, I don't care who he is, I don't care what, but who is he without the basketball? Can he help my child with more than just basketball? Can this person help my child? I'm turning over my most valuable asset to this person to help my child with something that he loves, can he help my child with more? Because this is not going to be.
Can he help your child be a better person?
Preach.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
On and off the court.
On and off the basketball court. Absolutely. So, but damn, man, this is good, man. I appreciate you doing this, man. I really do.
I appreciate being asking me just to be on here.
I appreciate
My pleasure.
it, man.
Like I said, you had me at hello.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. But we're going to do this some more. And Darryl, kind of just tell them what you got going on. You can talk to them. Just tell them what you got going on.
I run a media property called Global Basketball. It's an online media property. Ran it for years. It provides international basketball information, consulting, and events to the international basketball community. But like I told Bo, the last few years I've been so inundated with the development of my kids. I've put global basketball on the back burner, but we're about to bring it back up. And probably for years we ran the Global Basketball Summer League. Our partner was with the NBA. They used our platform to develop their referees, and we would develop actually media people. We had a media component. So a lot of the media people you see would host our event. They would come and be part of it, and this allowed them to develop experience and content. They use the content to get significant jobs in the industry. So I just recently, I've been training kids, taking them to places like Bow Bell, Shoot 360, all over, playing on the AAU circuits. But we just recently took over a facility in Fayetteville, and we're naming it the Atlanta Basketball Institute, and it's supposed to be more like a European style basketball academy where kids could get better. And so we just kind of started that, and just a combination of running global basketball and the academy and just helping my kids get better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want you to tell the audience how they can get in touch with you if they want to come to your academy, your institution to get trained and developed. They're on that end of the country, they're on that side, they don't want to make those commutes. You right there, you're available for them, so just tell them how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, just look up globalbasketball.com or Atlanta Basketball Institute. Email marketing@globalbasketball.com.
One of the most knowledgeable guys in the game right here, that's my dude. Hey, Darryl Reshaw, thanks for coming on, boss. We out of here.
My pleasure.
See ya. Peace.